Assalamualaikum, everyone. We are here for a very special podcast, starting with it's an award show, and we're going to go through the award winners this season. Not only the statistical winners, but also the voted winners. And unfortunately, Arif Khan, our beloved host, is not available this evening, and he does a really good job with these award shows. But I do have two great partners on the podcast tonight. So the one and only Habibi, Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam, Ahmad. How are you?
Good, thanks. Thank you for joining us as always.
Thank you for having me.
And then we have Zaid Maju, our new panelist or permanent media member now. So welcome, Zaid.
Jazakallah, thank you for having me.
So you know what, we have a lot to cover today. So why don't we get started? Just going to kick this off a little bit. We'll start with this, as I mentioned, we'll start with the statistical award winners. And first off, we'll talk about most points. And we have both Hamza Jogib and Abrar Desai with 31 points this season in an 11-game season. And tied, I think that might have been the first time we have a tie for points at the end of the season. And teammates as well. So thoughts, guys?
Well, Maj, you're on that team, so you see a lot more of these guys than I do. But I mean, they're teammates. So
they played some years together, and they just feed off of each other. You should have seen it at the end, though. It was still a very tight race, and you could still see although the camaraderie to make sure that they score a goal, get a goal, an assist, whatever. But it was also, hey, I need to one up my teammate. So they were still trying to find a way to score without getting the other one an assist.
Yeah, I mean, all the more competitive.
I mean, yeah, even looking at it from a bystander point of view, the chemistry that these guys have, it's unbelievable. It's really fun to watch from the outside as well.
It's great. And then just to note too, this is a record for Iceland, is it not?
A record for the hanger. I believe Saudagar has the record for Iceland. I think it's somewhere in the 43 points or something, but I know someone's going to correct me. I do remember either 34 or 43 points, someone talking about it. So I know Abrar was on pace midway through the season to beat it, but of course, a lot of teams worked hard and they tried to find a solution, and that definitely shows in some of the later games where Yakin was slowed down. But still, were they slowed down enough? Not a chance. Ended the season with I think it was a 10-1 record. So amazing job by Yakin and these two guys just leading the way.
Great. Well, next off, we'll talk about the goal scoring lead, and this is a three-way tie between Hamza and Abrar again, and then also Munawar Hamdani, newcomer to our league, and all three at 14 goals, which is again averaging more than a goal a game. Habibi, why don't you take this one?
Yeah, I mean, it speaks to the talent of all three players. I mean, all three players are obviously, top tier players, so it's kind of expected that that these guys would perform, and obviously when it comes to statistical awards, 14 goals for for players of that caliber is not something that was not expected, but it speaks to the caliber of their game, and it speaks to the caliber of especially when I look at a team like Yakin, when they have two of the top scorers on the same team, that's definitely something to be acknowledged as well. But yeah, it speaks to the caliber of the three players themselves for sure.
That's great. I don't know where everyone is in the chat. It's pretty quiet tonight, but hopefully it picks up a little. Maybe we caught them a little off guard, starting on time this time around. But I'm sure they'll join and start getting chatty. So if you're in the chat, please say something, and if you any thoughts you have on the awards. Next, we have the top playmaker, and I mean, at least to me, given all the players we have in the league this season, and no offense to Ali Wadi or anything like that, but this is a surprise to me that he came out on top as a top playmaker with 18 assists this season.
So I don't really see it as a surprise. He's that back end quarterback for the team, and he's done everything that the team has asked for him and then some. That being said, he still had to break away from the pack, right? We have Ali Wadi at 18. You have Abrar Desai, Hamza Jogi both at 17 assists. Yusuf Memon at 16 and Usman Butter at 14. So it was a tight race very much till the end. And Ali Wadi just did what he was, again, what he had to do, and what he planned on doing was just trying to get that last game and get the assist on the last game to make it happen. And again, just one of just an all-around player, doesn't think of himself first. Sometimes that's his downfall. But in this scenario, you know what? It led to his success. He got the 18 assists, and just, he loves to just spread the wealth, and he definitely sets up the big time goals. So
Yeah.
um,
Speaking about spreading the wealth, I mean, we saw that the top three goal scorers were either from Ikhlas and Yakin, right? So obviously, with Hamdani being the top lead scorer on that team, you had to have that playmaker involved. So Ali Wadi definitely, and then I think one of you guys mentioned Osman Batar. You had to have, the Scottie Pippens to the Jordans. You can't have a goal scorer without, someone feeding him that ball and stuff like that. So Ali Wadi definitely fits that module. He fits the plays that Hamdani needs to get in order to complete the plays and stuff like that, especially when it comes to goals. Joaquin, obviously they have the two top goal scorers, and you just mentioned that the remaining two had one assist back at 17. So I mean, it's not a surprise to me with Hamdani with the 14 goals. You obviously had to have that quarterback to assist him on those goals as well.
It'd be interesting to see if Ali had assisted on all 14 of Hamdani's goals. I'm sure someone can dig up
I
the
wouldn't
stats
be
at some point.
surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. And Omar Baksh in the house. And he's also asking who Dennis Rodman on Ikhlas is, but maybe we'll leave that unanswered for now.
We'll find out tomorrow, I guess.
Next up, we have the one and only Zed Maju with the lowest goals against average this season at an exact 2.0. I love exact numbers. Zed, how did you get to this? What do you have? What can you say about this season?
It's been a blast to play. Haya didn't hold back, and didn't help my goals against average. I was hoping for the ones, but it is what it is. But like the guys that played amazing in front of me. Everyone's willing to just go out there, play a really hard game, block shots, right? And it's really been a team effort to come back and to really secure the back end, and then of course launch from the back end forward, going to get a goal. So as I think a lot of teams, a lot of players know that being the bigger guy I am, I'll try to make that first save as much as I can. But then I always need the help of my D-men to clear the front of the net and to get those rebounds out. And the team's done just a fantastic job at securing those second chance opportunities and just finding a way to either give it back to me or clear it out. So I'm happy with this award, but to be honest, it's a team effort and it's a team game at the end of the day.
Right. Well, sorry.
No, I just it is a group effort, and I do agree with you, Maju, but it's still I know you're being a little bit humble, but it shouldn't take away from the ability of what you've done as well too. So congratulations. It is an award that
Jazakallah.
it is an individual award based on your performance. So congratulations, well done.
Jazakallah. Thanks.
Even and you mentioned your teammates blocking shots and things like that. As we get down later in the podcast, maybe you can share why you didn't vote for your own teammate who was blocking shots for you as a defensive forward. But maybe we'll just let that linger a little bit. Then we move on to the President's Award, or the equivalent of the President's Trophy in the NHL, is Yakin with a pretty stellar 9-2 record, finishing the season first overall. Maju, we've talked a lot about this team in terms of Abrar and Hamza just being great offensive players and just controlling the play, and then Maju taking away defensive honors. But I don't know if there's anything else to say about this team except they probably just need to carry this into the playoffs and ensure that they finish what they started.
Yeah, I mean it's a well constructed team. They are literally a team. So they've played well together, and they play completely together as a team. So I don't think that they should worry other than just continue doing what they're doing. And we all know the superstitions with the President's Award and what happens after that. But I think if they continue to do what they've been doing, I think their path should be pretty much established.
Yeah, and RF, I am wearing a collared shirt, so I did try it. But of course, I did mention at the beginning of the podcast, if you were on at the beginning, that it's nothing compared to what you do.
Nothing.
Next we'll move on to the awards where there were votes involved. Now, I believe there are 8 different awards here, and the way we went about this is we shared each of the 8 categories with all of the GMs of each team, and we asked them to nominate one person from their team for each of the awards. After we did that, each team submitted a response. The OC members and media team members then voted and assigned first place, second place, and third place votes for each award. So each person placed 3 votes, and then at the end, those votes were tallied, and depending on who had the highest score, ended up winning the awards. So we're going to go through these right now. And the way we're going to do this, and Habibi and Maju, you might not be familiar with this process, so I'll just walk you through it. And I can't take credit for it. It's Mubin, and also he gets credit for all the great graphics for tonight. He put in a lot of work there, so thank you, Mubin. But we'll walk through all the nominees and maybe kind of quickly run through them, and then you can maybe give a sense of who you think the top 3 are. We'll go down to the top 3 and reveal who those are, and then we'll see who the winner is. So how does that sound?
Yeah, and I just want to be upfront and transparent as well. I did not vote, so the results of the votes are going to be a surprise to me, as it will be to all of you. So I'm actually looking forward to see what the results are. It was a good thing to see on the WhatsApp chat group in terms of like the votes, in terms of like the engagement of the entire league. Pretty much was a good turnout in terms of like seeing what the feedback is. So yeah, there's no better way of doing it than starting it now. So let's do it.
And to be clear, like Maju doesn't know who the winners are either. He just voted.
Yeah, I didn't even vote, so this is good.
and I saw who the winners were, but that was like earlier today. I don't even remember what happened. There's so much happened in between then. So here we go. For the first award is Best Goaltender. And I mean, obviously each GM is going to nominate their own goalie. There's only one goalie per team. I don't know if we need to go through this, but Habibi, quickly, if you just name off the top 3 you think here who made it to the top 3, and then Maju, I'll ask you for the same.
Well, I'm going to be biased and obviously mention my own goal. I think Ali Khawaja and for Hassan has definitely been the catapult in terms of like, what Hassan defines itself in terms of the strong defense, and Ali Khawaja in the back there is definitely a big part of that. Obviously, you can't go out with the GA average, obviously, with Zaid Maju in terms of like what he's provided for his team, and of course, I'm kind of looking at Yusuf Kapoor and Reyes Hussein really surprised me as well. So it really is, it could be anyone. You're right, Matt. Every GM's going to nominate for their own goalies, but those 3 are the top ones that stand out right now.
Maju, any differences there? You think else should be called out?
Yeah, unfortunately, the statistics are not in favor of Yusuf Kapoor. So in that case, I would kind of put Khalid Mufti up there, because I think Khalid Mufti's really been that stability on the back end. Haya has not really been that same defensive powerhouse that they usually have been, and they've allowed a lot of second, third chances. But that being said, Khalid Mufti has kept them in it, and then he's that Marty Brodeur that always comes up clutch at the end to really keep the team going and keep them, even in attacking range of victory. So I think that would be the only change.
All right. Well, let's see who the top 3 ended up being. The finalists being Maju, Kapoor, and Khawaja. So.
And I literally didn't know, so that's good.
Yeah, there you go. So, I think we touched on all of these guys. Anything you'd like to add? I think, Maju, you had a couple different selections. So I think Kapoor wasn't on your list. What do you have to say?
Nothing really. Like Kapoor, I've said it before and I'll say it again. He's played amazing. It's just his goals against average is like, I think it's in the 3s, if I'm mistaken. But regardless of that, he's still given the team a chance to win. And in the last few weeks, he's also come into his own. He blanked Yakin, again the powerhouse of goal scoring Yakin, to he shut them out. Because of him and his 24, 26 saves, they were still in it. And then Kapoor has just been again
Yeah,
kind of roughing it out, and but he's been finding his groove. So he definitely is getting hot at the right time of the season.
and he was player of the week too, a couple of weeks ago too. So I mean,
Yep.
that's definitely a rarity for a goalie to receive that type of acclimate. But yeah, I mean, Kapoor could be just as well up there with the other two as well for sure.
So knowing the three that we have here, quickly, one word. Who do you think the winner is from each of you?
I'm biased. I'm going to go with my boy Khwaja.
I'm biased. I got to go with me.
And Mad, you have Kapoor, I guess. Oh, he wins it.
It's Kapoor.
Mashallah.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
No,
Okay.
I think the reason why he may have won this award or been, and Isawi mentioned it here too, is that he's stolen games for his team, where they've had no business winning, and I think that goes towards the style of play on Rida, where they play like a run and gun type game, and while they're attacking all the way, at times the ball's coming back the same, just as fast the other way, and he has to really stand on his head. So, Maju, you said that his goals against average is probably in the threes. He's still, given the way his team plays and how he's kept them in games, there are more chances against him, but he does more than enough to keep his team in games. And, they finished second overall this season in the regular season. So kudos to Yusuf.
100%. And I'll give you this stat too. Although his goals against average is 3.1, his save percentage is tied with the best. So I have me and him are tied at 840, so 84% save percentage. But again, he has almost 200 shots he's seen, and that's not doubling what he's doubling my saves, but it's still the highest in the league. So he's definitely been peppered and he stood tall. So that's not an easy feat to be, to continue to perform day in, day out. And goals against average, if you get shelled one game, it just jacks it up, unfortunately. So it is what it is.
Yeah, and you know what? You mentioned the save percentage there is still better than Jack Campbell this season. So doing better than NHL goalies.
Well, from my side, congratulations, Yusuf. Well deserved. Obviously, looking at the comments in the group, finally he gets the credit that he deserves. But congratulations, Yusuf, on a well deserved award for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll move on to the next award for best defenseman. And we have some interesting nominees here, and they're more than 8. So the way that works is there was one nominee from each team, and then through the media / OC, if they felt that someone was maybe excluded, or maybe there might have been 2 people on a team, and there's a second person that needs to be nominated, that person also got nominated and added to the mix. So we have Mustafa Alam, Salat Malik, Ali Wadi, Zakaria Ali, Amr Khwaja, Tahir Maroof, Omar Hussein, Asim Patel, Huzaifa Mandra, and Farouk Khan. Just quickly, Habibi, just list 3 names off. You don't have to go into any analysis, but who do you think? It's quite a list, and
yeah,
as we go through all the awards. But who do you think here?
You know what? It could be really any one of them. Obviously, the top 3 that stand in my mind. Obviously, I see Ali Wadi up there. I think Mustafa Alam is very underrated, and I'm not being biased, but he is definitely a main reason why we are where we are. So I think Mustafa Alam is up there. But again, you can't forget about the big guys too. You can't forget Sadat. You can't forget Amr Khwaja. But if I was to give a top 3, I would probably say Ali, Omar, and Farouk.
Great. How about you, Maju? Quick 3 names.
I'm going to go with Ali Wadi. Again, he's always on against the biggest lines. Huzaifa Mandra just shut down, as annoying as he is, he still finds a way to shut down the biggest names on every other team. And I'm just going to give it to Asim as well. He's just played a fantastic game for the back end, and he can still find a way to score.
That's great. Let's see who the top 3 ended up being. So a combination. Actually, this is exactly what Maju had, right? Wow.
Yeah.
And in that order as well. And by the way, this is like a totally random order on the screen right now. It doesn't mean anything, but any thoughts on these 3? You kind of went through it a little bit, Maju, but do you want to maybe dive in a little bit on these guys?
Yeah, just Ali Wadi, again, that general from the back end. He he finds a way to just stabilize any team he's on, right? That veteran leadership. Forget his statistics, right? He just the presence he brings to the game is unmatched. When he's missing, you feel it. When he's there, you feel it. So that general from the back end, and then just to be, just to add goals and assists on top of that, just amazing to see in action. Jose Mandra, does get those big goals, does manage to get things done on the offensive end. Not so much this year, but he also plays a very strong defensive game. People say he's chirpy, he's chippy, blah blah blah, whatever. But does he stop the top line of any team? And the answer is yes. Right. If you want to go to the nitty gritty, the plus minuses, you could go all to that. We don't follow that, but I'm pretty sure Josefa remembers every single plus minus he's ever had since kindergarten. But he is a shutdown defense, whether you like it or not. And Asim Patel, he's just a dual threat, right? He's switched over to playing defense this season, and he's done the job well. He can be that stay at home when needed, but he does excel on being that two way player. And we've seen some beautiful plays of where he's kind of deking, diving, and then jumps into the slot and just fires off, just rips a wrister. So
has he played defense before in any other league, or is this his first time in general playing defense?
He if we're going back to the days of pickup hockey and this and that, he's played some D, but in terms of other leagues, I'm not so sure what he's done recently, but definitely he always used to be a forward. So other than this league, I'm not sure if he's been playing defense.
Got it. Well, Habibi, I know, like you said, you didn't vote on it for any of these awards, but I think Maju had some pretty insightful analysis. Who do you think comes out on top here?
Well, I mean, I couldn't get more insightful than what Maju did say. All three of them, the way he described them, are absolutely on par. But all three of them also bring a different style of play too. You got Ali, that's pretty much like the general. He's pretty much that quarterback. Josefa's pretty much that forward that can score, go back, and kind of get chippy and do all that. And Asim is really that that force. You know what I mean? He's got that power. He's got the offensive powers. All three of them play differently. But if it could be all three, any one of them. If I was to pick, I'm just going to go alphabetically and just say Ali.
Okay. And
there you go.
There you go. So Ali, we talked about him earlier. He was top playmaker with, I think it was 18 assists. Really helped lead his team. Iclas finished was it third overall. So kudos and congratulations to Ali to be voted as best defenseman.
And I like Arav Khan's comment. Why D? I like that.
There you go.
Cheeky.
And I guess it's going to be interesting to see how his team adapts in the playoffs now. Given and just segueing a little bit, but Adil Chauhan's going to be back for the playoffs, I think, and playing his first game actually with Iclas. So having both Ali and Chauhan on at the same time playing D, wonder how what their playing style is, how they share the floor and the ball and everything, because both of them do like to carry the ball a little bit and touch the ball a lot. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be fine. But
yeah,
I know why you would be saying that. But at the end of the day, I mean, not taking away anything from Ali, a well-deserved award for sure. But you're right. When the dynamics kind of shift a little bit, it might shift to the positive or to the negative. But I think with the the types of caliber player that these guys are, I think it should be. I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, no, for sure. I fully agree with you.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the next award, defensive forward, and once again we have 10 nominees here. So you have Sakib Kokar, Rayan Khwaja, Rizwan Kalair, Bilal Mohideen, Emre Wasif, Mohamed Kazi, Ahmed Mubin, Hamza Chaudhry, Rizwan Malik, Yusuf Maiman, Umair Syed, and Sufyan Sheikh. So any thoughts on, and not thoughts, but maybe just call out a couple names on who you guys think will make the top three, or who finalists for this award?
I see a lot of GMs here. So looking right off the bat in terms of the GMs, you got Kazi, you got Sufyan. You got Memon, you got Hamza, and you also got Bilal too. So those are the names that stand out from the names that I see right now. Uh, if I was going to shorten that list, I don't have the stats in front of me, but Yusuf could be up there for sure. Hamza, obviously, and Sufyan, I guess. But it's good to see the young guys in there too, like Rayon. Rayon obviously is an underrated player. I've had the privilege to play with him this year, so it's good to see that we got the young crop in there too, between Rayon and Bilal. But I think those three are the ones that would that would stand in my mind for sure.
Yeah, and you mentioned stats, and unfortunately, we don't have the ability to be able to track block shots and takeaways and things like that. But it isn't a criteria that this person is scoring all the way, but it really contributes.
Yes, yeah, you're right.
As a forward, but defensively is very valuable to that team. Maju, what are your thoughts? Top three quickly.
So I think this is where I got a little bit of heat for maybe not putting Ahmed Mobin's name out there, but he definitely has blocked.
Right now.
Well, he definitely has blocked a lot of shots. I'm not going to say anything against that. He's an amazing defensive forward when it comes down to it. My biggest picks were people who always came back and were managed to really help out the back end. And I think I kind of, if I look at it quickly, Rayan Kawaja is always there to block and always there. Defensive and offensive machine. Just doesn't just no quit attitude. Sufyan Sheikh again, one of those players who plays center, who plays wing, but he always knows defense first mentality. He'll always come back, and I just have to. I have to say this, but Ahmed Mobin, I got I feel bad now too, but yeah, Ahmed Mobin just block shots and everything, and Yusuf Memon, like he again just that two-way forward, the two-way centerman. The epitome of that position, always comes back and helps for that third man in.
Aris, I just think of who you'd have on in the last minute of a 2-1 game. Obviously, if you're up, so all these guys I think would qualify there. But alas, the three nominees, the three finalists are Sakib Koker, Sufyan Sheikh, and Rayan Kawaja. I think we touched on Rayan and Sufyan, but any thoughts on Sakib? And he's really kind of his game has changed almost every season since maybe last summer. And I don't know if that's I'm not going to say it, I don't know. That's not indicative of his skill or inconsistency, but I think he is able to adapt to the role he's required to play, which is extremely important. And I think it was last summer where he kind of tore it up and was really a top scorer or point getter in the league. And then he's changed into a more defensive role as he's moved within the lineup and the people around him have changed and what they've asked of him, which is kudos to soccer. Not a lot of players are able to do that and play different styles. So I think that's why he made this list and is one of the finalists. I don't know if you guys have anything else to add there.
Go ahead, Maju.
Sorry, I was just going to say Sakib, baseball Sakib. I think that's the position he's been playing more than hockey. But in all honesty, he's just amazing at faceoffs as it is. He is consistent, and you're right. He just steps up to the plate and plays what he needs to play. He's not a fan of playing defense, but just being a defender. But he enjoys that like coming back and helping out the team, and then always taking it back up and. Again, he's not the guy who will break into the zone for you or anything. He just loves setting it up. He loves moving it around. I keep telling him.
He's a top face-off guy too, so that's extremely key to have possession in ball hockey. It's extremely important.
Habibi, I was just going to tie back into your comment earlier, Ahmed, in terms of what you were saying about adaptability. He's adapted to that role, and he's fit nicely in that role. Obviously, on the team that he's on, he's. There's obviously other players on that team as well, but in terms of like his adaptability and his role to where he needs to play when he's on and his role when he's actually on, absolutely well warranted in terms of like a nomination for this. So congratulations to him. But looking at the other two as well, I mean, you got Sufyan. Looking at Arif's comment right there, like just think of who you'd have in the last 2 minutes of a game. Absolutely, Sufyan on Haya is one of those guys that will be there, and of course, looking at Hassan Rayan, he's there too, right? So again, it's Sakib is kind of the underrated from the other two, only because of where he fits on that team. But he gets the acknowledgement in terms of like when he is on, that's the role that he plays. And to your point, Ahmed, that adaptability has definitely been there for sure.
So, just knowing this, Maju, quickly, call out one name and let's see who the finalist is, who the winner is.
I have to go with Rayan. I played with him on Dynamo for one game, and just amazing player.
And I have to say him too as well. Like you took the
He's
words
your
out of my
teammate.
mouth. Yeah, he's my teammate. I have no choice.
So
But I mean,
yeah,
like, yeah, but I mean, at the same time, like, I mean, I have the privilege of playing with him. So, in terms of like the definition of what the award is, he is that guy, and he's definitely one of those guys that you do want on. And he's that two-way player. He won't be afraid of putting his body on the line. He's fast. He's quick. He's like that second goalie, as you know, Maja, that you would say, like in terms of like doing that. And he is a guy that you want, as Arf would say, in the last 2 minutes of game and you're down 2-1. He is one of those guys that'll just kind of like ruffle a couple of feathers. So, and it's good to see the youth getting in too. So I think, looking at, the other two and looking at Ray in terms of like the next generation of hockey players that we're getting in our league, I think it's a well-deserved award. So congratulations, Ray, on this one.
okay, yeah, and just I've never had been able to be on the same team as him, but just watching him out there, it's just like he never stops. Like he's always end to end. I played a couple games against him where his team's been extremely short benched, and he just does not stop. It's like he has unlimited energy. It's really, mashallah, it's insane. But congratulations.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Congratulations.
All right, we'll move on to the next award, and I think we might have to pick up the pace a little bit, guys. But Rising Star. So this goes for the top player, I think 23 and under in the league, as a Rising Star. So an up and coming player. So we have 9 nominees here: Mikhail Zaidi, Ibrahim Dugri, Rayan Mohideen, Riaz Hussein, Zia Nakuda, or Nakhuda, sorry, Yusuf Shahzada, Hud Khan, Hamza Bhagat, Hussein Malik, Umar Varachia, and Hashim Shahzada. Maju, if you had to pick 3 guys who you think will make the finalists here based on their performance this season, and they're all like, I gotta say that it's been great. The last 2, maybe 3 seasons, we've seen a lot of youth come into this league, and you look at it, and there's been a little bit of a changing of the guard, which you miss the guys who have been around for a long time, but life happens, and there are other priorities. But it's great to see that new next generation, and that new blood come into the league, and this is just evident of that, right? Like we never had a Rising Star award before, and we do now, just because we do have such a wide variety of young stars out there and future leaders for the league. So, Maju, if you had to pick 3 of them, who do you think would be finalists? And then we can quickly go over the finalists and then discuss those in depth.
So Mikhail Zaidi, Hud Khan, and Riaz Hussein. That's my 3.
You literally took the 3 off mine, dude. Literally, these were literally the names in my head too. So I echo the same sentiment, but Ahmed, any one of these players are. It's just from my perspective, just seeing that influx of youth, 23 and under. It's really good to see these guys step up. But yeah, my 3 are the same as yours.
Great. Well, we have Mikhail, Hood, and Rayan.
Yeah, and there's no surprise because those are the same 2 that I picked.
Hold on, I picked Riaz, by the way, not Riaz.
Riaz, got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Riaz Hussein.
Close enough.
I actually picked Rayan.
So
but
there you go. Habib is batting pretty well tonight.
Well, I mean, judging by all 3 of them, they all have hair, so I mean, like, it's a good thing that. But
a lot of it too.
Yeah, a lot of it, compared to what I have. But Hood has definitely stepped up his game in terms of like watching him mature for the last couple of seasons. I think he's up there. But again, I can't ignore my teammate Mick. So Mick has definitely been one of those guys that I've had the privilege of watching, obviously through the Dynamo system, but also playing as a teammate as well. Rayan, I haven't really seen much of him, but I know whenever I see Iman play, and he's definitely part of that whole youth. If I was to pick one, I have to be biased and pick my teammate Mick. So,
Maju, what are your thoughts?
I honestly I don't know who I could pick. I think I would lean towards Mikhail Zaidi. I feel like the votes may go towards Hood because of the
He's
couple of
well
big games
known.
he had.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because
Four
of his
goal game that he called.
well, and his Instagram followers or whatnot, right? He's got that media presence. So I don't know if that's going to go there, but yeah, let's just see how it turns out.
Any words to add for any of these three guys that you'd like to say before we see who the winner is?
No, I think Rayan Mohideen. He's kind of really just been that silent killer across the entire season. For some reason, he just floats under everyone's radar, but you get to really figure him out once he starts putting it in the back of your net. So he's the very quiet guy out there, but definitely has a good shot of winning this. And just yeah, I think that's the only thing that needs to be said after Habibi.
Well, I mean, speaking about radar, I mean, Mick is a player that players watch for when they play, and Hood is a player that other teams watch for when they play too. So not no disrespect towards Ryan, but you're right, he is kind of that under the radar type of player. But it's good to see that the young players that are in the league are on other teams' radars. So from that
Yeah.
perspective, getting the recognition from other teams saying, "Oh, okay, this guy's on that team, this guy's on that team," and they're not the usual OGs that are there, but it's usually now it's become, like you said, I'm at that change of guard in terms of the youth that are coming in. So I think for this one, it's probably going to be the ones that are on the radar, and it'll probably go to Mick or Hood on this one for sure.
Yeah, the thing to call out as well, I think this is Rayon's first season in the league.
Yeah.
Whereas Mikhail, I think this is maybe his second, and Hood has been around here. I think maybe this is his third or fourth. So, guys know them more a little bit, and it's also great to see, mashallah, that these guys are their game is evolving and they're becoming better as each season goes on, and inshallah Rayan will as well. He's already out there. Like he's another energy guy, right? He doesn't stop. He's back end to end.
All three of them are.
Yeah, and just like paired with his brother, they're a killer combo. So agree with everything you guys have said. So the winner is Hood. So he has that infamous 4-goal game that we talked about, and he has he's really become a much more solid player as he's played a couple seasons where a little bit of tunnel vision to start with when he first joined the league, but he had that raw skill, and now he's starting to connect the dots and really take over some games and have a huge impact, which is great to see. So congratulations, Hood.
Absolutely, congratulations, Hood. Well deserved, and it's a true testament of the work that you've done on your own for sure.
And just as Arif is saying, the real winner is the league with all this young talent coming in. So,
mashallah,
inshallah, we'll probably see a lot more this summer based on how registration has come on. All right, as we go into the next award, Grizzled Veteran. So I think this is a new award that Mubin concocted, and I think a couple people recommended. And obviously, I think this is for guys over 40. So sorry, guys, we're giving your age away. You have Amr Khwaja, Ehsan Zaidi, Khalil Khoker, Mohammed Hamoudi, Usman Batar, Ali Khwaja, Abdurrahim Mandra. I can't believe he's over 40. Holy moly. MashaAllah.
Who?
Abu Mandra.
Mandra, he's over 40. MashaAllah, good.
Yeah, right? Isn't that a surprise? You have Faisal Mehboob, Zaid Manju, EBP, Salman Bhatti, and then also Khalid Mufti. I don't know if we lost Maju, but Habibi, do you have three guys that you would pick up here, like right at the top, and maybe we can go straight to the finalists?
Well, obviously, I have to lean towards Hamoudi. Obviously, there's no question about that. But I mean, Hamoudi is a guy that is a name that would fit on top of that list too. Obviously, you got Osman there too. But my teammates Ali and Ehsan Zaidi, they're definitely the caterpillar, so the catapult in terms of like what our team is. Top three, I'd have to probably go with Hamoudi, Zaidi, and Batar on this one.
All right, and Maju, are you there?
And no, maybe if they have one over 50, maybe I'll join that group.
Well, Arif is saying it's 35, and I gotta say it's definitely not, because otherwise I would have made the list, right? Just kidding. But anyways, let's see who the finalists are. And you have Faisal Mehboob.
Oh, wow! So no one.
Yeah, so you're totally off on this one.
Wow. Okay.
Um,
Okay.
but you know, you talk about these guys, right? Like Fessel has been known to he gels with literally every team he's played on, and he's actually been on 3 different teams this season. But every team he goes on, he gels, he fits on one of the lines, and he scores key goals at key moments, and just the guy who he is, and he does it with his wooden stick. So that's impressive there. You have Khalil, who had a really good start to the season. I think he scored in the first 2 or 3 games to start. But he's a really good brother there as well on the team, and a good leader. And sometimes a quiet leader, but he's there, and he has his presence also. And then Amr Khwaja, we've been talking about him a ton on the podcast, probably for the last couple seasons. But he's really he's just a key member on the team, and there are not enough of those like truly defensive defensemen with a big body that can box you out and clear the ball out of the zone just to protect your goalie and limit the chances. So I'm not surprised by any of these selections. Maju, I think we lost you for a second, but I don't know if you have any any comments on the finalists here.
Not much. Sorry, I just had a little bit of an emergency pop up, but yeah, I think you hit him right on top of the head. Like Faisal Mehboob walks for a short guy, walks tall and has a big wooden stick. Khalil Kokar, I think he actually scored on 4 or 5 straight games to start the season. So just again, always in the right place, has his chances. Some maybe he wasn't able to score in a couple, but just that great brotherhood spirit as well that's always there. And Amr Khawaja, again, that big guy. Now, I don't know what his height is and what his those statistics are, but he can keep up with the best and the fastest players, and he plays. He knows his limitations and his abilities, and he plays with them. So he definitely boxes guys out, moves them around, clears the lane for the goalies to be able to see and whatnot. Had the pleasure of on the last summer season playing with him, and again, just amazing defenseman, but still not shy to get into the corner. So again, well deserved for each and every one of the players.
If you pick one winner, who is it?
I'm gonna go with. I have to go with Amr Khawaja.
Habibi?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Amr Khawaja on this one too.
And it's unanimous. There we go.
Mashallah.
For all the reasons we just mentioned, he's highly coveted, and I'm sure if he's playing this summer, he will be again. And it's interesting, you can always, there's always like a couple teams you see after the draft takes place, and like they really need a guy like Amr Khawaja.
Yeah.
And it becomes quite evident very quickly as the season goes on. So congratulations, Amr, and hope to see you again in the summer. Well, obviously in the playoffs as well.
And a good representation of the veterans for sure. So
yes, for sure. All right, Brotherhood Award. Now there's like 12 nominees here, if my math is correct. So there's a lot. Let me just lift them off. So we have our very own Ahmed Ibrahim.
I had no clue.
Wasif, Khalil Kokar, Sahil Mohammed, Imran Shah, Tahir Maroof, Hamza Abdullahi, Rayan Mohiddin, Zaid Maju, Hasnain Tirmizi, Mohammed Hamoud, Wasim Kagzi, Zaifa Mandra, and Omar Baksh. So 2 of the 3 guys on the podcast tonight are on there. So we definitely feel elated to be in very good company. But if you guys had, you guys are on here, so I'm not going to ask you to pick. So I'm going to maybe pick 3 guys who are finalists here. And you know what? All these guys are great brothers. They're great representation of, how to present yourself in the league and how to work with your teammates and support each other and really help those who need a little bit of development and advice and bring them along as well. So if I have to pick 3, it's tough. Why don't we just go to the finalists? I'm not gonna take that responsibility.
I think you can't disregard the work that Hamza Abdullahi has done. Obviously, like with everything that he's done with the league, I think that's a name that stands out for me. Obviously, like the leadership qualities that Hamoudi brings into his teammates and all that stuff, that's up there. But like every one of these are brothers. I mean, it's a brotherhood league, so it pretty much could go to any of the 120 players that we have in our league. But Yeah, it's a good group of guys for sure. I'd have these guys on my team any day for sure.
All right, let's see who the finalists are. So we have Omar Baksh,
Yeah.
Khalil Coker, and Hamza Abdullahi. So anything you guys want to add about? I think we touched on Hamza and Khalil, but what are your thoughts on Baksh?
So again, Hamza Abdullahi, great things as he's done for volunteering and just trying to raise awareness for what he's doing. Khalil Coker, again, just great presence to be around. I don't think I've ever seen him sad or anything. He's always trying to spin at any opportunity and a blessing. Now, Omar Baksh, again, great personality, great person to be around. The only thing is brotherhood, absolutely 100%. He fits the nomination. Now the thing is, what is he going to give you? He's going to give you that hype man speech, but then he's also going to tell you, hey, go to the gym. I'll give you a workout routine, and this is how you can gain 15, 20 pounds.
He'll give you the shirt off his back.
Yeah. He'll offer you that pre-workout drink every game. It's like, yeah, take it. You need it. Just it'll help you. And he's always there. So very, very positive attitude.
Actually, speaking about positive attitude, because obviously being one of the people that's obviously there at the rink at all times, anytime I see any of these three brothers, always with a smile. I mean, these three guys. I mean, it's like you said. I don't think I've ever seen a bad day from any of these three guys. Always coming in with a positive attitude, and I'm sure that resonates not only as Arif would say, not only on the floor but also in the locker rooms as well. So, these guys are definitely guys that I would definitely want in my locker room, not only for the playing part but also for the brotherhood part in terms of like creating that positive atmosphere. So, yeah, it could be any one of those three guys for sure.
Yeah, and just to add to what Arif is saying in the comments, that Khalil really stepped up during Ramadan in our chat group, and a lot of useful information, good thoughts, provoking some good conversation. During it was really I don't know what the right word is, but it was welcomed, and it was really great. So and this is my first time really being on the team with him, playing on a team with him, and getting to know him. And mashallah, he's an amazing brother, just like all the other guys, like you said. So the winner. We have co-winners. Wow.
Oh,
wow.
So Khalil Coker and Hamza Abdullahi coming up on top for all the stuff that we talk about. And I think the other thing we talk about with Hamza Abdullahi is he does a lot for the community, fundraising on his own time and supporting really good causes. So, kudos to
congratulations to both of them. Obviously, it's one of those awards that's definitely not hockey related, but it's the more important one because it's not hockey related. It defines you as a character, and I think that's as a person. So I think that's very good recognition to have for sure.
I just want to take it a step further, not only as a person but as a human being and as a Muslim, right? Yes. This is they both of these brothers, mashallah, they are they are the epitome, or at least I know none of us can be perfect, but they're getting there pretty damn close, right? Like they're trying to do they're very selfless, and they're trying to encourage the best out of everybody else. And for a very young player, Hamza Abdullahi resonates that. And I was shocked to just have a conversation with him, and he was just he has this kind of the soul of a 60-year-old guy almost, where he's just pulling out these great views on life and things. I'm like, dude, you're only somewhere in your 20s, and yeah, you have this perspective, which is mashallah, just so nice to see, and just so refreshing to see, when, especially I do these guys, when you're having a bad day, you're around them. That's not your care in the world anymore.
Yeah.
Well said.
So, congratulations again. For the GM award, the three finalists are your Iman GMs, Adam Ahmed, Junaid Alvi, Bilal Mohideen, Rida GMs, Abu Mandra, Mohamed Ghazi, and Yusuf Inger. And then your Keen GMs, Hamza Joget, Yusuf Mehmed, and Abrar Desai. Any quick thoughts here on who you feel is more worthy, I would say, than the other two group trios of winning this award?
I don't know who's more worthy. I just want to put it that way because Yakin had the best record going in, fantastic. Rida, they're two of the three GMs have been, been stuck to the hip. They've been working together for years on end, and they keep bringing they try to get their core guys, and they're trying to recruit younger and younger guys too, so try to get more into the league, and trying to give back that way. And Iman, a brand new GM trio, and yeah, they started off with a very rocky start, but they're also working at kind of using that as leverage for their team, but also development of their future, because a lot of those guys from Iman are playing in the Salam Cup, so they're also working towards that building the next wave, the next generation of hockey players. But all of these teams, all of these GMs instill one key element. They work on their team. They are, they're not bosses, quote unquote. They're leaders. They encourage the best out of every single player on their team. They're not the people that are like, hey, you go do this, I'm going to go do this, and I'm going to go sit on the bench and have a drink or anything. It's not. It's lead by example. It's the hard work put in to get it. So honestly, all these teams or these finalists, all for different reasons, but all deserve to be up there. And I can't give you one.
I agree, and all three teams had different journeys. Obviously, Akin with the journey that they had in terms of winning the President's Choice. So obviously, a journey, with a tail on
There's
itself.
optimum points.
Yeah, and the other in terms of making the changes that they needed to do to get that second spot. So obviously, you're seeing the number 1 and 2 team, but of course, you can't disregard Iman and then Maju. You nailed it right on the nose. They actually had a rocky start. But because they built the management team that they had, they became a lot better. And that's obviously a true testament of that leadership team and what they've done in terms of literally bringing it from the bottom, and now they were there. So I'm old, but what I'm saying is, three different teams, three different journeys. Top two teams are obviously between Rida and Yakin, but the journey that Iman had in terms of going from where they were to where they've become, it was literally because of their GM trio. So all three of them for sure.
And because I'm host, I get to maybe add a little bit here. I'd like to give a shout out to the summer GMs as well. So Mohamed Kazantini, Maz Hakan, and then also Farg Sani. We had a pretty rough start to the season, and it looked pretty bleak for us. But they didn't give up. They tweaked and they made a big trade, and we never gave, kept the spirits high on the team, and we never gave up. But we qualified for the playoffs, so inshallah we'll be playing this week. But I just wanted to give a quick shout out to them.
Absolutely,
and,
for sure.
The actual winners are, of course, your Yakin GMs, Hamza, Yusuf, and Abrar. For all the reasons you guys have said, first overall, and these guys have also dominated on the score sheet, right? So I think quite worthy winners here.
Absolutely.
If we go on to our next award, and this is our final award, I believe, it's the regular season MVP. You have 8 nominees: Muhib Shah, Munawar Hamdani, Hamza Jogiat, Yusuf Muhammad, Khalid Mufti, Riaz Hussain, Bilal Moeddin, Abrar Desai, Yusuf Inger, Khalil Cooker. There's some names that it's wow, how do you pick between them, right? If you have to pick 3 guys before we go to the finalists, just list off quick names. Habibi.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the obvious on this one. Munawar, Jogiat, and Abrar.
Maju?
First of all, I just want to say that I love just seeing the goalies up there, Yusuf Mohammed and Khalid Mufti. So I really appreciate that, just as a goalie, that people are getting that deserving nod, or at least the nomination.
And their GMs have nominated them too, right? So
yeah, we had nothing to do with it.
Yeah. So that's a big statement. I think this is one of the first times. I don't know for sure, but again, I'm always a proponent of the goalies are your backbone, and if you don't give them the shout out, then it's just, I feel left out. But yeah, but I have to say Hamza Jogiat for sure, Abrar Desai for sure, and the third one, I guess I could go with Munawar Hamdani, but let me just throw. Actually, you know what? I just got 2. I don't even know who the third one is. I was thinking 2.
All right, you should have probably just stuck with your gut. But, so you have Hamza, Abrar, and Munawar. I think we've talked about these guys a lot already, and how they've contributed, and being tied for the goal scoring lead. Abrar and Hamza leading the league in scoring, tied for that as well. First place finished with a 9-2 record. One of those losses they weren't even there for. Others, it probably would have been a very different result. And Munawar coming in and joining the league at for the first time and trekking all the way from St. Catharines every Friday night. So we really appreciate that. But 3 top guys, and one of these days we'll get a proper picture of Hamza instead of just having to sneak a picture of him walking away. But if you had to pick one, I totally understand it's tough to pick one, but you got to pick one. So
no, I'm not even gonna pick one. We had co-winners already, and now I'm gonna say it's a 3 tie. It's a 3-way tie. Like, these guys are all deserving. I want to say it's a 3-way tie for, like, if you want to break it down to statistics, it's got to be a 2-way tie between Hamza and Abrar. If you want to break it down to just the best players in the league, there's a 3-way tie. Like, there's I don't know, man. I've been wrong so much.
What do you think of me?
I agree. It is literally a 3-way tie.
You gotta have some cojones. Come on, just like you gotta.
You know what?
You guys feel it's getting cop out.
Well, with what Munawar has done on his team, like in terms of like, you have obviously Abrar and Joe and Hamza playing together for all those, for almost a long time, and just Munawar doing what he's been doing in terms of like just being put in on the team on itself. I think that's probably the only tiebreaker, but putting me in a difficult situation. It really could be any of the 3, but if you're putting me in the position, then I would probably have to lean towards that. And again, I really don't know who the winner is.
Yeah, let's see who the winner is. So it's Abrar. Also first time for him in this league. But going back to maybe how the season started, he was really, really ripping it up.
Player of the week a couple of times too.
Yeah, and he was scoring a ton. So you know what? Like you said, it could have been any one of the 3. Could be happy with one of the 3. Any one of them, and then also be disappointed that it wasn't one of the other 2. So, but in the end, someone has to win. So congratulations, Abrar, on being the regular season MVP for the winter 2023 season.
Absolutely. Now just make sure you pull it over to the playoffs.
We'll see. You'll have to hold your end of the bargain up too. Mine is best goaltender. So, not best goaltender, lowest goals against average.
Yeah.
So if we shift gears a little bit, looking forward now, and unfortunately, due to scheduling conflicts, and we were made aware of this very, very last minute, and truly apologize for that, but that really was out of our control. And thankfully, we did find out early enough that we were able to notify the teams and the GMs, so that hopefully no one had left for the arena by then. But we weren't able to play our quarterfinal games last week. So instead, what we're going to be able to do is play them this week. In less than 24 hours now. The games are going to start in 22 hours. And the schedule has changed a little bit. So now what's going to happen is the Summer and Eclos games are going to be at 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock. And then the Haya and Asan games are going to be at 9 and 11. We won't go into an analysis just because, Maju, you and Arif discussed this at length last week. But, just as a recap for the way this is going to work, so it's a best of 2. You essentially need to win. If you win both games, you advance. If there's a split between the 2 games, then the game after the second game, it goes into a 5-minute overtime, golden goal. It's golden goal, right, Habibi? Or is it? Yeah, it's golden goal, 5-minute overtime. And then if it's still tied and no one scores in the overtime, then it goes to a 3-round shootout. Obviously if it's still tied, then it's 1 round at a time to determine who the winner is. So you know what, it's going to be an exciting night, even if you're not playing. Either whether you're eliminated or you're waiting to play in the semis and you have that bye on Yakin or Rida, definitely come out. This is going to be a really, really exciting match or game or night, actually, to see what happens. So definitely stay tuned. And again, apologies about the scheduling last week. And then just a final plug here on the summer season. We are almost full registration. I can say that there are less than 5 spots left. So if you're interested in playing, please submit your registration, send in your fees, and we'll lock you in for the draft, which is going to take place in a couple of weeks. And then on top of that, if you are interested in GMing and you have GM'd in the past, or maybe that you think that's something you want to try, contact someone from media or OC, and we'll get you in touch with the right person to talk about that. Otherwise, we're very close to finalizing the pool for this year, and this is probably one of the earliest times that we've done that, given that the draft is about 3 weeks away. So that's really the end of the night, guys. Thank you so much for joining. We hope everyone enjoyed the awards show and had as much fun as we did. And inshallah, we'll see you all tomorrow night at the rink. So
Inshallah.
thanks, Abibi. Thanks, Maju.
Looking forward to it. Thank you so
viewers.
much. Okay. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you.
Awesome.